in 5 years. And I think I used to kind of take away the pressure from myself, but to be very honest with you, that was one of the techniques. The second technique was where I used to kind of, as you see, I mean, I don't know how many people here watch tennis, but we are the only or one of the few professions where we talk to ourselves and have a complete dialogue with ourselves loudly, and we're not claimed to be mad, right? Because usually when you're talking to yourself like that, imagine sitting at the desk and talking to yourself and saying, you can do it, like it's crazy, like what we're doing. But I would have a complete dialogue with myself, and I would say to myself that yes, you're feeling pressure, but so is the other person, and you're better than her in this moment. And whether I'm better than her or not is a secondary thing. The belief is the first. Because if I believe I'm not better than her, then it's lost anyway, right? So at least I'm trying my best to put myself in a position that is 50% where I'm like, okay, at least my mind is helping me to believe that I'm better than her in that situation. So, like I said, there are different techniques to deal with it. You can. Some people close their eyes, they put a towel on their head and they just sit down, right? Like on the changeovers, because they want to block out the noise. I didn't do that. I was quite okay with blocking out the noise without the towel. So so for me, I actually loved playing those situations. I thrived under pressure, and I honestly feel the difference between somebody who's number 1 in the world to number 5 to number 10 to number 200 isn't really that tennis or the technique. I mean, everybody can play a tennis ball after playing for 20 years. It's really the belief, and it's really how you deal with those pressure moments. So Novak Djokovic will deal with it much better than and because he's won 24 Grand Slams, much better than someone who's won one. You know, and obviously it's all relative, but I'm just saying that it is, for me, the belief is very, very, very important.
I think you just gave my marketing leader Nipun some hope with his tennis in life. So you're talking about talking to yourself, because there was a rule that you couldn't talk to your coaches for a long time. And now the rule is kind of watered down a little bit, right? Would you have wanted to talk to your coach while you're playing a game?
So I played in the era of all the rules. So I played in the era where you literally look at your coach and he like shows you like some finger and they're like, oh, warning, you know, you got to give a fine. And then we played in the era where the coach was allowed to come on the court once a set and have a full conversation with you. And now they've reached this era, which I played very briefly over the last 1 year of my career, where you could have a conversation with the coach, but obviously you can't have, there are some rules, you can't have it from the other side, so you're not screaming. Honestly, I didn't mind. First of all, this happens all the time. Even when there was no rule for coaching, everybody used to coach. So I think it's great that they've just opened it up.
Correct.
But for me, I think it used to calm me down, and my dad was kind of my super coach most of the time, and we shared a pretty good relationship. So I liked him coming on the court, and sometimes we didn't even talk about tennis. He used to come and we used to just chat about something for 90 seconds to just it just calms everything down, and it just takes your mind off it for a second, and sometimes that helps as well.